That is not the statement you make when you're like, this game has racism. I can't stop playing.
I can't stop playing this racist game.
I love this racist game.
I didn't know Jimmy Superfly Snuka, like, legitimately got away with murder. No, you know who they're blaming it on? And this, I'm going into conspiracies.
Oh my God.
Quick. I don't know, man. There could be something fun about joining a cult. At first, it was a little fun. And then I'm like, oh, this is a really good game. Like,
Yeah.
And then you're fucking sucked in.
Yeah, I can't put metaphor down.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like,
My girlfriend knows now. She's like, fuck, I lost him.
yeah, we've been discussing that. Like, what makes the game playable? You know what? Let's start this out. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your hosts, Nelson.
I'm Ian.
Ed.
We are all here. We're hyped up about some video games because it's been a while since we've played the games that we've actually liked.
I'm super excited about the one I'm playing.
Yes, yeah. You know what? Let's start with you, Ian. You're playing Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 3 on the PlayStation 9.
I beat that one.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
But
I heard you have to beat that with like giving a cow an enema.
You have to actually put the controller stick in your ass and swivel your hips.
And it knows there are sensors in there.
Yeah. If it doesn't detect rectum,
then
game shuts off.
Yeah, people
Shuts
try.
off.
They stick it in their mouth. They're like, nope, we're not buying it.
Preferably, they don't do that after they've tried it. But, whatever you're into.
Or maybe before, lube it up a little bit.
I don't yuck anybody's yum.
PG-13, people.
We don't do that.
PG-13.
We don't do that here on the Sofa.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. We have not tried this at all.
But no, I am playing Atlas's new mega RPG, Metaphor Refantazio. Try pronouncing that like 100 times.
That's a very fancy name.
It's Atlas's own attempt at making a unique fantasy world outside of their Persona and Shin Megami Tensei worlds, because that's what they're known for.
Right.
I mean, they make other good RPGs, but those two ones are the ones that have carried their franchise.
So for those of us civilians that don't know what kind of a world that is, what does that entail?
They created a world where like you kind of it's like Pokemon evil.
Okay.
That's the way I would describe.
Okay.
That's the way I would describe Shin Megami Tensei. Like
Okay.
basically, Shin Megami Tensei is like you unlock or capture or find these demons and you have them fight for you. And like it starts with like low level like Kelpie, which is like a water horse, or Pixie, which is like a fairy. Right. But then it works the whole way up to where you're like catching Thor and Satan and it gets fucking ridiculous. Like you have Satan, Lucifer, like, and then it's
you have like Satan as your pet.
Yes, well, you'll summon him. Like you'll go into battle and like you'll switch to Satan, and like this giant embodiment of ice and hatred appears behind you, and you're like, holy fuck! Like, and you're fighting with Satan. Like, that's that's Shin Megami Tensei. Persona,
So it's kind of like being in a relationship.
Sort of.
You capture Satan and then they work.
And
for
then you
you.
work.
Yeah.
And Persona is the one I liked more. And I got into that one. That one is like it's a weird game. You have time management. Like you'll start the game in April.
Right.
And like you will end the game in January of the following year. Like but during the day you're a Japanese high school student.
Yep.
And the plot changes every game. There's a murder mystery. Each game is some weird, horrible setting.
Okay.
But these personas keep showing up.
Right.
The same monsters that are in Shin Megami Tensei. You start from like Kelpie, and then you end up with Satan. Like at night, you dive into like this world, this parallel world, and fight demons and try to uncover the plot that's going on. And during the day, it's like a fucking high school simulator. Like you have to like make friendships, join the track team.
Don't get bullied.
It's kind of hard to bully someone who's fighting with Satan, but anyway, at the same time, but
You're like, leave that guy alone.
But you can't neglect the simulator, because like the closer I say Ed is like on the track team with me. The closer I get to Ed, the more I unlock in a certain group. And then I can get stronger personas.
Okay.
I loved it. Persona 5 Royale is one of my favorite games of all time.
I've never even heard of it, to be honest.
This game that they just created, though, is their first attempt stepping away from that.
Right.
And you can see similar things in it.
Right.
Like, there's certain mechanics in the game, I'm like, oh, that's very familiar.
They're familiar.
Like, the day. Yeah. It's the month of June in the game. And, like, time progresses. And I'm like, oh, so they're borrowing that.
Okay.
But they've gotten rid of the Persona thing. And it's like a fully fleshed out fantasy world. Like
that's tight.
But they read this like book at night. It's like a story book, and the book is about our world. Like they're reading the book about this world with towers made of glass, and like where like there's only one tribe, and like we we coexist. Like we're not like divided into like each tribe. And like to them it sounds like a fucking utopia. But it's funny because we live in this world,
right? And they haven't met the politicians that we've met.
Meanwhile, this world is tore apart. Like if you're a certain race, you can't even buy from this shop. It's an in-game shop, but if your character is this race, you can't even fucking shop there.
That sounds about right.
This game has racism.
Yeah. You can't share the same water fountain.
I can't put it down. The fucking soundtrack, the soundtrack to this game is ridiculous.
That is not the statement you make when you're like, this game has racism. I can't stop playing.
I can't stop playing this racist game.
I love this racist game.
If you're into racism, this is the game for you.
No, I can't recommend it enough. This game is amazing.
It reminds me of, I'm watching this show called The Jury right now, and it's hilarious. It's the makers of The Office.
Racism?
And it gets there, right?
Okay.
And all of the characters are actors except for one person. So they're doing like a Truman Show. He's on a jury. The trial is fake. Everyone involved is fake except for one guy. And so there's this one episode where, here you go. This guy winds up getting a shirt on with these letters. It says like Joff on it, whatever. And everybody's having a good time. And the waitress is like, we can't serve you. Not if you're wearing that shirt. And he's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
She's like, that's a secret signal for racist groups to know each other. And that's how they got the table. The table before them didn't want to let anybody in.
Yeah.
And then they see this shirt that he's miraculously wearing. And then they're like, oh, you seem like one of us. Have a seat. It's good. It's actually a really funny show. It's kind of like The Office. They talk to the camera, they talk to the characters, and that's how they excused cameras being there all the time.
Yeah.
Like they're doing this mini series and somebody is there to watch what a jury is like in America.
Yeah.
And this kid is completely oblivious, and the things around him with these actors that are happening are fucking great. One of the jurors is actually the guy that plays Cyclops in the X-Men.
Oh, shit.
And like the whole time he's just trying to get out of trial because he's so famous, right? But nobody recognizes him except for this guy. Like everybody's playing along. Like the judge is like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Do you guys know who he is? They're like, no, I don't know. He's like, he plays Cyclops. So it's a pretty funny show. It's like laid back humor, like, and I enjoy it for that. But back to video games. Me and Eddie have been playing a cellular phone video game. It's called Last War. It's one of those games where you can easily spend a shit ton of money in order to be the best of the best. But what I like about the way that the game is structured is that if you have enough patience and you build properly and you do things in a timely fashion, you could still play the game on a somewhat fair level, as long as you're diligent.
So you tell me there's no way you could beat Elon Musk at that game?
No. Elon Musk would run the servers. He'd be like, each server has like their own like guy who's like, I am a billionaire and I play this game and you are my peasant friends.
Right.
But what they do is, in a way, to keep that person happy and famous and popular on the servers is, if he's spending money and you're in his team, you get free gifts.
Yeah.
So the guy on our server, he jumps between different clans every week. He picks a clan, he spends the week with them, spends a shit ton of money, everybody gets free gifts, and everybody loves this man.
Yep.
And then he jumps into the next room. He's with us.
So he's like the mob guy that hands out fucking turkeys.
Yeah, bro.
To some extent, yeah, because literally whenever you spend money, part of that is a gift that's given to everyone in your alliance. So the more you spend, the better the gift. The more you spend, the more often the gifts. And you can see it in a whole little thing, because you got to go through and click to get your gifts.
And you can see who's spending the money, right? So what's funny is, like, we're new to the game. Me and my other friend, we joined this big alliance, and everybody's sucking this guy's dick. Oh my God, welcome, Bato, you're the greatest. Bato, we love you. And me and my friend were a secret message, like private messaging each other, like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is everybody sucking this guy's dick, right? And then, like, 3 days later, when we get all this great shit like piling up in our supplies, I'm like, Barrow's not so bad. Barrow's a pretty good dude. You know what I mean?
You decided you cater to him.
Yeah, but I never. No, I don't but everybody else does, and I'm glad that they do, and I'm happy when he shows up. So we'll leave it there.
Would you blow him?
No. He put his profile picture up one time. He's legitimately like an 80-year-old like restaurant owner.
Oh yeah,
who just like spends like 20 grand a week on the fucking
game.
On the fucking game, bro. Easily. Now, when me and my brother were discussing it, I spend $40 a month on the game. I've given myself an allowance. It gives me a little bit of an edge.
I have spent $60 on Metaphor refantazio, and I will never, ever spend any more money. The game is complete.
But the game is a lot of fun. But again, you can play it without spending the money, or as little money as you want to spend, and still have an enjoyable time. But the game is structured in a way that it's still pretty fun, and it's fair for those that just want to just jump in and play. Right. You don't have to worry yourself. Will you ever be top 10, number 1, number 2, number 3? No.
The amount of money that some people are spending is absolutely absurd, and it does absolutely give them an edge. But if you are timing and playing things properly, you can be above some of the people that are spending money, but they're just brute forcing their way, and they're not properly paying attention to the way and what they're spending and doing.
Well, what I did have was a really fun interaction with. There's this person on our server. Her name is Ramos. Okay. And she was
nice Irish girl.
Yeah. She was having words with her clan members, her alliance. So she decides, I'm going to quit this alliance. But in the process, spends her entire week's paycheck to burn her alliance down to ash. She's like, I'm going to spend money. I'm going to buy all these upgrades, all these resources, and just attack, and murder my alliance and then quit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn, that's a different level of like in-game rage that I've never... It's petty.
Oh, yeah. I can picture. She's probably overweight. She's got blue hair. She lives with like roommates, so even though she spends her week paycheck, she's not going to be on the street.
Nope. Probably correct. 100%.
She's just like, these motherfuckers.
Yeah, but it's a different level of gaming, and that's what they've been trying to adapt with PlayStations and Xboxes. If you really think about it, like the pay to play, like Call of Duties, Gears of War,
and you get
these games where you could get all these special upgrades and suits and armor.
Varied. I mean, we got people from 18 up to 90 on our server playing.
Wow.
It becomes very, very varied, and it's people all over the world. It's not a singular language.
Correct.
Like right now, we're primarily English on our server, but there's Japanese, there's Korean, there's entire alliances that are like several different Hispanic nations, like they only speak Spanish.
Yeah, Hispanic, Arab nation countries, Korean nation countries. You start
getting like people that are like, that's the translator.
The Koreans are who you have to
worry
about.
Like, where's the guy that also knows Korean? Hey, we need you to broker a peace treaty. Where's the guy that knows this language? And it's interesting.
Even some of the Arab countries, like, because like the running joke is like they're all like oil czars and shit, right? You're looking at these guys, you're like, they're all level 30? Like, how the fuck did they? Oil barons and shit.
Yeah. They have some guy just play for it. They pay a guy to like pay
for everybody's you out of my army now.
Well, he does $1 million. Make sure my team does not lose.
There are people that actually do that. I have seen in other games. It was a game that Russell was playing on. Where one of the people, he would give money each week to the people and the alliance specifically to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, this is money to you, put it into the game.
Yep.
That way, our alliance
is always the top
on our server. People absolutely do that.
They take it very seriously. Think about it like this. It's like, you're Vince McMahon, right? And this is your world. And you can control it just by throwing a little money at it.
Yep.
And you're the big dog. And you tell people what to do.
I can make interns and they gotta have sex with me.
Did you watch McMahon yet? Did you guys watch it? Holy shit.
I watched the whole thing.
Holy shit.
Didn't even start it.
Eddie, it's definitely worth watching.
You know what I watched? The Tomb Raider anime that popped up on Netflix.
I was thinking about that.
Back to McMahon. How fucked up was that fucking documentary, though? Because some of it he was a part of, some of it his family was a part of, but some of it was very unbiased information that these people put together.
He did some good things, but he did some bad things.
He did.
I mean, was Vince McMahon a monster in some sense? Yes. But without him, you would have no WWE.
Correct.
Plain and simple. Black and white. There it is.
So it then comes down to, can you separate the artist from the art.
Yeah.
Like the R. Kelly's from the R. Kelly music.
I love professional wrestling.
You know what I mean?
Fucking love it.
Yeah. Well, there's also, especially with professional wrestling.
I don't necessarily love the founder of it.
Right.
When you go back to when it was individual groups all over the country, people were killing other people to maintain their power in the industry.
It was like the little mafias. It was little mafias.
Yeah. So when somebody managed to put it together, he had to be a ruthless person. It wasn't going to get put together by playing patty cake and dancing with rainbows and unicorns.
Vince had death
people
threats.
were getting people killed.
Vince had death threats.
Yeah.
Numerous.
He said that they loved the cement boots death threat. He's like, apparently everybody had cement boots that they wanted to put on you.
Yeah.
The most atrocious thing, though, about the documentary with Vince McMahon was that mustache that he ended up with at the end.
Yeah,
there.
what is?
I don't understand the little Satan mustache that he
No.
had going on.
He knew he was becoming the devil.
He looked really evil. I was like, oh shit, Satan, final form.
Yeah, it looks real bad. Like someone needs to tell. Like that thing needs to go.
Well, he's completely stepped down. He's completely out of the works.
Right.
It's after they did a merger with the UFC parent company and the WWE. They became another company called.
I know what you're talking about, but they are in the same thing now.
Right.
Because there's a sheik that's helping fund it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're all under one flag now.
Yeah, and they're making the most money that they've ever made in their entire lives as far as running the WWE.
Yes,
they're saying stadiums are packed, the merchandise is selling off the hook. Like,
I watched WrestleMania for the first time in a long time. The last time it happened.
How was it? I haven't seen one in a while.
It was a hell of a show.
Yeah,
the one in Philadelphia, it was a fucking hell of a show.
Yeah,
Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns for the title. It was fucking wild.
Yeah,
it was wild. Rhea Ripley is a hell of a performer.
Oh yeah,
she's
absolutely.
a very large, powerful woman. She is, and she's attractive. She is a hell of a performer.
Nice.
Like what they wanted China to be.
Yes,
is what she is.
Rhea Ripley is
absolutely.
Got you.
Everything they intended her to be.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley is that and more.
You know what's funny too? Like going back watching wrestling as kids, like when they brought back up the Attitude Era and some of the storylines, I was like, oh my god.
Some
as
of
a
them
kid,
are terrible.
Some of them are atrocious.
Yeah.
Like especially like even like, you know, you got The Rock, like they holding China down on her knees and he's like, you're on your knees. That's a great position for you. And I'm like, that doesn't hold up the same way.
It doesn't hold up well.
Yeah, the one where they were fighting for custody over Rey Mysterio's kid.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
The one storyline that they didn't go with that they talk about in this is that Vince McMahon was going to do a storyline where he impregnated his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? That is a wild one.
They were doing. I mean, I remember the Undertaker had that like dark cult, and they tried to sacrifice Stephanie McMahon
Yes.
on air.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She was like tied up on this fucking cross. I was like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing?
That was one of the ones she was like, we'll do that one.
Yeah. They
That
went ahead
was
with
the
that.
compromise
I watched that one.
compared to the other storylines he was throwing out there.
I was like, wow, we're gonna have a sacrifice live on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is fucking awesome.
But the behind the scenes in wrestling, professional wrestling, has always been just as wild, if not as wild, or just as wild or wilder than what's going on in the ring and with their storylines.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know Jimmy Superfly Snuka, like, legitimately got away with murder. Like,
oh yeah, he killed that girl.
He killed a girl, and then the company paid because he was their biggest star at the time to keep him out of jail.
That's ridiculous.
That's what happens.
Fucking wild. And like every episode of the McMahon documentary ends with like 2 or 3 different lawsuits that were either pending or being paid off.
Yeah.
And but see, some of the shit didn't add up too. Like there was an issue where Sable, she eventually marries Brock Lesnar's wife. I mean, yeah, she Brock Lesnar's wife.
And has that beautiful daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That manly daughter.
Oh my god.
So she sues the WWE because she was saying she was being sexually harassed and all the stuff that was derogatory, made millions of dollars, and then comes back a couple years later to reprise the exact same role.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon was like, you know, I just put it to the side. It's business. It was a great storyline. I lost money. Now I'm going to make money off of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, at that point, you should lose the money from the first fucking lawsuit.
Yeah.
If you're coming back to do the same exact shit that you did before.
How offended were you?
Right. And you're coming back and making money again.
And the thing is, he's done that with multiple wrestlers. Well, they'll leave. It's a big thing. There's a lawsuit. But when the opportunity to make money comes back, he's like, come on in. Welcome arms. But not a problem.
Sable ended up getting hers because later on, Brock was in the allegations for having sex with that intern.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey.
Yeah.
I guess the company got the last laugh.
You get what you give, you know? Yeah. And, but there were others.
Sable was hot, but Trish Stratus was hotter.
Trish Stratus.
And Stacy Keibler. Who was a college roommate of my older sister.
Not related to the Keibler elves.
No, she's very tall. Known for her legs.
Yeah, Stacy was probably my number one pick.
Really?
Yeah, she was fun.
Yeah, Trish Stratus.
And then Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus for me. Rhea Ripley gives you that like weird fetish where like you're gonna get thrown around. Like, she's gonna strangle you. You're not getting top position there, man. She's a big fucking woman. And she's Australian. She's like a big Aussie girl. Like she's gonna fucking manhandle you.
There was one in the storyline as well that they were saying like didn't end up so well.
I don't know how big Rhea Ripley is.
She had like some sexual harassment charges brought up with the WWE and wound up committing suicide over the allegations and the lawsuits.
Yeah.
So there are other sides to it too. That seems more like, okay, that was a real instance where this thing happened versus like Sable suing, coming back and then reprising her role as like the secretary slut. Like, dude, like what the fuck?
Yep.
You know? But that also makes it more difficult for the girls that legitimately had an issue. Because then the optics are like, I mean, look, she came back.
It's like, how bad was it when she came back?
How bad could it be? And that was what I was thinking too. That McMahon, it was burning, you know, like a double-edged sword there. He's like, yeah, I'll pay her to come back, and it also makes me moving forward look like I'm a good guy, and they were just full of shit.
Like they sued, and I still took them back.
Yep.
They're saying she's only 5'7", 170. She looks bigger.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she looks bigger.
Yeah.
Just
Damn.
Ring presence.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the WWE has always been known for altering numbers.
You know, maybe Dominic's a bit of a small guy as well. You know,
because
she looks bigger than him.
She does look bigger than him. The Mysterios are not very big people.
Stacy Keibler. Oh, there was Tori Wilson.
Yep.
That was another good one.
Yeah.
Christy Hemme. God, there was one that I'm looking for.
Nia Jax. She was hot.
Nia Jax. Yeah. There was a couple of good ones over the years. I know you love that one. Do you like the little Japanese lady? What's her name?
No. The one that spits venom? No. I'm good.
I was trying to look for the really big lady. She was like Kong or something like that.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
I was going to try to throw that one at you and see if you remember
her. Those never lasted that long.
No.
There was a particular type of woman that made it through.
Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte, always scared me. Becky Lynch, the man, thought she was hot.
The Rock's daughter, oof.
Really?
Ugly. Ugly. Like almost as ugly as Brock Lesnar's daughter.
The Rock was in the last WrestleMania.
Yes.
It was like it was 2-night event. It was such a big WrestleMania. They had one part Saturday, one part Sunday. Saturday night, the main event was tag team between Roman Reigns and The Rock, and Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Yep.
And the first night, The Rock and Roman Reigns won, and then the next night, Cody beats. But it was the ending of it was so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was so ridiculous. Like somehow John Cena came running down the fucking ramp. She's got a 7 head. It skips 5 and 6, goes straight to 7.
Yeah, it's a 4-head.
Well, some of these guys just have strong genetics. It's like what happened with Brock Lesnar's daughter. Like Sable is a pretty woman, but like it's just her genetics are just getting crushed, just getting annihilated.
Literally crushed by Brock.
Genetics, or is it a result of steroids?
I don't know, but there's got to be something in the genes because Brock Lesnar's fucking daughter is like legitimately the best shot thrower like in college female history. Like she's amazing. She's going to be in the Olympics.
She's legitimately like 1/3 of Brock Lesnar's size. Of course, she is.
She's a hell of an athlete, and he so from what everyone says, he's like a real supportive father. He just sits in the regular crowd.
That's cool.
He's,
Hey, listen,
and it's awesome that he doesn't like push her into wrestling. He's like, do your own thing. Like,
well, he probably realizes because when you watch these documentaries, you're like, women historically did not have a good go being in this industry. Like, it isn't until the more recent times.
Well, now Brock Lesnar's sleeping with all of them.
Yeah,
it wasn't until Freddie Prinze Jr. when they started getting appropriate, proper storylines.
Yeah.
Instead of like 3-minute matches and then they moved on and nothing really progresses for any of them.
Yeah.
You know that he was a really big writer for the WWE? Freddie Prinze Jr. of
Wow.
all people.
Yeah.
I don't like him in his podcast though. He seems like a bit of an uppity tool.
Do you think he fucking slept with
Probably.
I liked
He says, Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
I liked the pod with him and Wolf. They were good together. I definitely didn't like when they did any of the music segments. Those were just fucking
terrible. Yeah.
Instant fast forward. I don't want to hear you freestyle. No, sir.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh, God. Yeah. Awful.
Funny fact about musicals: that horror movie that came out, The Terrifier 3, is on track to gross more money than Joker 2.
As it should.
Yeah.
It should.
I think everything is on track to gross more than Joker 2.
The third rendition of literally what started as a B-movie horror movie is on track to gross more than Joker 2.
See, it doesn't matter who you put in the front lines. If the movie is shit, people aren't going to go watch it.
Oh, and it's got to be shit. Like, DC has probably lost so much money on that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the amount of money they lost.
I mean, who didn't see that coming?
Yeah, I know. We talked about it.
Thing.
Ian didn't see that coming. Ian thought it was going to be great. Ian wanted us to watch it. Ian wanted us to go see it 2 or 3 times.
I had hopes.
Ian.
Listen. I had hopes that they were going to be able to make something out of it.
Right.
Nope.
Sure. No,
Man.
they shit the bed.
If it comes to HBO, I might take a gander at it.
That's when I'll watch it. When
It's
it
a
comes
comic
to TV,
book movie. Know your fucking audience.
I mean, I seen Madam Web.
See, I couldn't do that.
It was like a B-rated movie. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good. It was like, all right, if I got nothing else to watch, I'll throw it on and I'd watch it, and that's what I did.
The
And
question-
So it was
all right.
So it was bad.
It was all right.
The question
If
is,
it wasn't good and it wasn't terrible. It's
It was
bad.
there. It was meh.
Terrible's here. Good's here.
And then meh.
Bad is right here.
Meh.
now,
It was
That's
bad.
just above bad.
Yeah,
if you
It's bad.
if you take all the Marvel stuff that they did till Endgame off the table, is it a good movie, or is it just a bad movie in comparison to what level Marvel had brought comic book movies to?
It was as good as, I would say, the Incredible Hulk Lou Ferrigno on TV.
Ooh,
What? What was?
Madam Web. That's what it stocked up to.
You can't disrespect Incredible Hulk. That show was great.
The CGI was on par with Lou Ferrigno painted green,
Listen,
walking around playing.
that show was awesome.
and his green ballet slippers.
Yes, exactly.
That show would be on super early.
Here's the thing. It was a good show. Like, because the storyline drove the show.
Yep.
The green paint was the aesthetic that just made you, get into the fantasy of the superhero world. But the show itself was like traveling guy helping people town to town.
Lou
place to
Ferrigno
place.
was the Hulk.
He was a badass.
He was the Hulk.
He was a badass. Yeah. But, we all can't be the Incredible Hulk now, can we?
God, that's the golden age. Mm-hmm. No, I don't know.
Coffee's pretty good.
It's all right. I'm like, I feel the urge to pee, so I have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
No,
ease
this
into
has
it.
been like the end of a very long week as far as work is concerned. I put in so many fucking hours because with hurricane that came our way.
I did
last
Tuesday.
week,
Tuesday, I put in a lot of hours.
it was a condo, 2 condos, a house, and my house.
Yep.
And I'm like, shutters up, shutters down, furniture in, furniture out. And it takes like a small army. Like I had 18 people.
Oh, and we had a fucking tornado.
Yes, the tornadoes.
And like a legit tornado went
Yep.
through, like an F3.
yes,
They measured it as an F3
Yeah,
tornado.
130
crazy.
to 160 mile an hour winds.
That belongs in that belongs in a fucking. I mean, Kansas.
There's only
Yeah.
been 8 since they've been recording them in Florida. 8
tornadoes that big.
that big.
It was gigantic.
That's strong.
The one it crossed right over by Boonies,
Yeah.
Southern Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did some damage.
Yeah,
did some damage.
it knocked out our power here.
There was a bar. There was a.
And I'd have to check the timing on Margot's video, but it looks like because it ended in Jupiter, it
Yeah.
almost looks like the video she shot outside of her window was the end of the tornado. It started here and it ran like 24 miles all the way out to
Jeez.
Jupiter Farms.
Well, Port St. Lucie got hit too. Port
Yeah.
St. Lucie got some damage. I mean, there was like they were showing like a dumpster from a horse barn, and it was like 2 tons, and it was on someone's roof.
Yeah.
I was like,
Jeez.
what the fuck? Like, who the
I
hell
see,
threw
I
that?
see
There
the
was a-
picture of the car
that was on the roof.
Turned.
Yeah.
Yep. That was pretty nasty.
But it was something like 17 confirmed tornadoes touched down, which is a record. It was over 100 tornado warnings, which also was a record.
yes.
And
But look how menacing that photo is.
Yeah, I could
see that shit in the sky.
I could see that.
That is fucking
from my
wild.
window. I saw that from my 3rd floor apartment window, and I was watching it roll into Wellington and head towards you guys. Fuck. I was like, oh my god.
Look at that right there.
Yeah,
that's the car.
No joke.
Hit the fucking house.
The neighborhood I lived in last year that got hit with a hurricane when Ian came through.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly. A tornado hit that house that I was living in then.
Fuck.
And went and fucked up the neighbor's house. This time, the same tornado, that big one, hit that neighborhood again.
Yeah.
Fucked it up. Like,
Jeez.
I'm so glad I wasn't living there. Like, houses were blown to fucking pieces.
Oh, yeah.
That's spooky because we're not even really prepared.
For a tornado?
We can't go underground. This is Florida.
You have no
Florida. Florida doesn't have an ability to prepare for tornadoes.
No, they tell you in Florida, you go into the bathroom with no windows and preferably lay in the tub.
Lay in the tub.
Get a mattress on top and pray.
Yeah.
But Milton is currently categorized as the 5th strongest recorded hurricane.
Yeah.
And not only did it break multiple records for being the strongest hurricane as well this late in the season, the other 2 hurricanes that were out there were also record-breaking hurricanes, but they were just too far away for anyone to give a shit because Milton was smashing Florida.
Right.
So we're getting record-breaking storms and late season at this point, and this is 3 that hit Florida inside of, I think it was, what was it, 6 weeks?
Yeah,
or 9 weeks or some shit?
But climate change is a myth.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. You know who they're blaming it on? And this, I'm going into conspiracies.
Oh my God.
All
right, listen.
I know you've heard this conspiracy. I know you've heard it.
I know you wanted to do a conspiracy theory.
I still do.
I don't even want to do that because just for people that are listening, we're going to give these fucking psychos like
a platform.
A conduit, like a way to be heard.
Let it happen.
And then we got to smash them down.
That is what the internet is for.
If you bring an avid flat earther on this fucking podcast, it will be the first fist fight that we see on this podcast.
Yeah. Ratings, baby. Let's do it.
All right.
I'll sit next to them. This way, at least, they'll be like me in the middle going, as he's throwing the punch over me like...
I would not be able to debate with them.
Oh, it would be fun though. It would be fun.
I can.
I say we do it. I think it'd be great.
So what were you saying?
Okay, so this is what I've heard from a ridiculous person that I know, and I will spare saying their name, but they said that they were leaving the state because the Democrats were forcing the hurricane into Florida to do damage because they didn't want to vote for Trump.
All right, so
this is a legitimate theory from a grown-ass person.
We always try to keep politics off this show, but let's put it this way. If the Democrats have the power to control the weather, we should vote for them because that's a scary fucking power. Are you telling me Storm exists?
Yeah.
And she's a Democrat? All right, well, I want to appease the god of the rain and thunder, so I guess I'm voting blue then.
But how fucking
so I don't
stupid.
die.
How stupid do you have to be to really believe shit like that?
And what do Republicans control? Earthquakes?
I don't know, man, but they got hurricanes, so the Republicans got to control
They got to
something.
have some kind of power. Is it like Groudon versus Kyogre in Pokemon? Like,
you know what?
have like
the Republicans control coronavirus, so the Democrats control hurricanes.
Right. The weather is controlled by Democrats, and the China virus is controlled by...
It just gets so fucking
I got it. I figured it out.
Sounds about right.
But what radio stations, what news platforms, what social media are you following that it can control you to the point to think that they are? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I'm turning the frogs gay. Wow. God, I miss that guy.
But to be fair,
Sandy Hook was a
the frogs have been turning themselves gay for a long time.
Hillary Clinton is a lizard woman. She eats children.
To be fair,
I was like, wow.
To be fair,
this guy's awesome.
To that particular story. It was worse than turning the frogs gay. It was actually turning the male frogs into females because it was manipulating their hormones.
Oh,
so
shit.
only females were being born. So he was actually correct on that particular story.
But he assumed the sexual orientation of the frogs.
And
the frogs gay.
In the way he had said it.
Don't you misgender those frogs, you asshole.
Alex Jones is just, oh my God.
He's a special kind of person who found a way to make money.
And he made so much money with his fucking fun.
He was just outlandish. The vampires, the demons, the lizard people.
They're lizard people. And then when he was on Joe Rogan explaining the aliens, I was like, dude, no way. He's like, aliens are classified. I'm about to tell you. And I was like, and then he started talking. I was like, holy fuck.
Fuck, what are we
He
into
goes
here?
so far to the side, but then he was also correct about Epstein Island.
Yeah.
And he was also
But
correct
that was
about
the
the people
problem.
worshiping the L God and the fucking Bilderberg and all those fucking guys over there. So it's like he gets this crazy thing correct. And
He
you're like,
said-
this isn't real. And then 10 years later, you're like, oh fuck,
It was
there
real.
is an island. It was real.
It's like Nostradamus.
God damn it! What's
It's like
going on with the frogs?
It's like Nostradamus. If a couple hundred years ago you make 10,000 predictions, one of them will come true in 100
Goddamn
years.
right. Yeah, and all
then
of a sudden you're a
it
prophet.
doesn't make you a prophet.
Yeah.
It makes you a fucking lunatic.
I'd like to make a prediction here. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Next year.
Nostra Nelson. Here we go.
Next year, there will be a hurricane in Florida. You heard it here first, people.
That's a bold prediction.
It's a bold prediction. Yes, lots of wind and rain in Florida in our future forecast. Huh? I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
You're gonna start a following.
This as long as it's like one of those kind of cults that I can control myself. I'm like, everybody, bring me your money and your resources.
For that, you just have to sell food for when the storms come.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Jared
do like everybody else is doing.
Give away your worldly
when they
goods.
drum up fear.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There could be something fun about joining a cult. You give away your belongings. You don't have to worry about bills, thinking.
There's a lot of sex.
There's a lot of sex, yeah. But most of it is sex you don't want.
Well, most of it is just
it's sex with the one guy at the top.
yeah,
it's
the
the
guy at the
person
top.
leading and everybody else is doing nothing.
Yeah. So like, you got to get in really good with the guy at the top there. You know what I mean?
You got to get in really good with him.
You got to get in really good.
Okay.
Are you prepared for this?
I mean, I guess I have to be.
But inevitably, cults get taken over by the government. People get shot, murdered, killed, stabbed, burned to death. So you got to make sure you kind of join like a militia cult.
Yeah, eventually
That's the way to go.
Eventually, the
They're
tanks
well
roll
armed.
in and
You can at
everybody
least fight back.
dies.
Yeah.
Or someone finally passes out the Kool-Aid and then
Yeah.
everybody dies.
Drink that Kool-Aid, baby.
Yeah.
I'm in. As long as we're all wearing matching sneakers, I'm good. That was how one of them died. Like,
Yeah.
right? They all had like matching Nikes or some shit. Or
They were
Reeboks.
those were the ones they were worshiping the Hale-Bopp comet. Yeah. That was the Kool-Aid one.
The Hale Bob
Yeah,
comment.
yes. Oh yeah.
They thought that the aliens were behind it, and if they died while it was passing overhead, the aliens would collect their souls and bring them with them.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds viable to me.
That sounds completely legit.
Yep. I would kill myself in the common life.
Perfectly reasonable science to all of that.
Yeah.
Or
We should definitely get one of these.
Yeah,
fucking.
yeah. I think we can start one. We just need a compound.
They would need
so
a
we
mask.
just got to find
They
a
need
compound.
mask. They would need a mask because we're gonna trash them.
Yes.
I'm going to trash them.
First compound, Eddie, food, right? And then matching sneakers. So I'll handle the sneakers. You guys figure out the whole compound
handle the
situation. You'll handle the sex. All right, it's gonna be
I'll sleep with every member.
All right, good. It's gonna be an all-male cult.
You gotta do strange things for the leader. Are you the leader?
Yeah, I'm not the leader. You're the leader. You're handling the sex. I'm just handling the sneakers, bro.
Well,
I'm handling the sneakers. That's it.
I have to have sex with every member.
I'm gonna be an outside associate.
Every member.
No, I'm not a member. I'm not a member. I just want to clarify.
No, I'm
an
pretty sure
associate.
you were in charge of our shoes. I'll associate you all right.
I think we can get Cody to join our cult, right?
He would join immediately.
Cody would join our cult.
If Cody and Barrett found out we started a cult, they would join.
They would join. Those are good friends.
Grant would join.
Who?
Grant, he would join.
Grant. Oh, Grant would join. Yeah, Grant would be the first one to
Grant's
join.
Sierra can't come because it's all male.
It's an all-male cult, right?
Yeah.
We'll have a sister cult, right? That the
Like
other cult members don't know about.
Right, and they just clean our facility.
They just clean.
We tell them it's for charity, but they don't know any better.
I do not support this cleaning of the facilities thing.
Why?
I'm just saying.
They have tiny hands. They can get into all the crevices in the building.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying.
And on that note, thank you for joining us for the fucking new podcast where the tiny hands get in all the crevices.
They do. They do. Listen, if we're starting a car, we got to be prepared for all kinds of things. Like, it's going to get messy in there.
It will.
Especially if I'm handling all the sex. I mean, cleanup needed.
Just a lot of grunting and sweating.
Yeah.
And
Why'd you have to make it all male?
Why'd you agree to having sex?
I was going to do what I had to do. You wanted to start a cult. How do we bring these people in? Cult's gonna be full of just a bunch of weird men that want to sleep with me. It's gonna suck. This fucking cult's gonna suck.
I thought they would come for the sneakers, stay for the sex.
Sounding more like a YMCA at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like a Freddie Mercury tribute.
It's like the Catholic Church.
God damn it. Damn it. The Catholic Church. You're not wrong. Just come for the shoes, stay for the sex.